Hey everyone, it's Ken and Andrea from Northern Viking Explorer. Today we want to do a quick review for you of the complimentary food and restaurants that we experienced on Royal Caribbean's Ovation of the Seas.
We recently took the ship to Alaska, so let's dive right into it.
So let's dive into the complimentary food and restaurants that we had on the Ovation of the Seas. Andrea, do you want to take it away?
Yeah, let's start with the main dining room.
Okay, sure.
Now, they have multiple main dining rooms. So, and there's kind of two options. You can do where you do early or the late seating or the my time dining.
Yeah.
And we did the my time dining. So we were either seated in the Silk or the American Icon. So there's
was it American Icon Grill or just American Icon?
I think you're right. I think it's American Icon Grill.
Yeah.
So they're separate restaurants across from each other, but it's the same menu, just different decor.
Yes, one is American Icon kind of decor and the other one has a more Asian influence.
Definitely.
Yeah.
But it's the same menu.
It's even the same check-in desks and maitre d's for both of them. So you don't go to a different spot.
Yeah. So what I really like about Royal Caribbean's main dining rooms is they use tablecloths.
You're so right. I love the tablecloths.
I like it. They use white, clean tablecloths. And when you eat your bread, they come by after you and they scrape all your crumbs off. It's that like old school, real cruising, formal feeling.
I love that.
I love it.
Yeah.
I'm a little ashamed that I tend to make crumbs somehow. I haven't mastered eating my
it's all the
crusty
crusty bread, yeah.
Sometimes I sweep it on the floor before they come so they don't know. But
Can I add to what you just said though? They also bring you a menu right away.
Woo! Even though you can see the menu ahead of time, even before you get on the cruise, you can see it in the app, but they don't ask. They just bring you the paper menu.
There's no assumption that you're going to use the app. They bring it to you, which is awesome.
I love that. And I love that the tables in general are not like really close to each other. Because we've sat on many ships where I could maybe slide my hand between the two tables. So you might as well have been sitting together. You actually
I feel like you're looking at my list right now.
I'm not, I promise. I think we agree on the same things here. But it felt more like you could have a more like private conversation without, you don't feel like you have to talk with the table next to you. Although we did that at one table because they were just so nice.
Yes. One thing I want to say, and this doesn't have to do with the necessary like the restaurant, it has to do more with the location. So on lots of ships you need to, if you're trying to find the main dining rooms, they're at the back of the ship, but you often have to go up a level, walk to the back, and then down. These were actually on a floor, so they were easier to find.
Much easier. You're not going around a kitchen where you have to go up and down. It was simple.
And I did have a note, like very modern style, and I know we already talked about that as well. So do you want to talk about the service quickly there?
It was fabulous.
It was wonderful.
And even during the meal, like different staff members would come over and check and ask, how's your experience going? And they want to know, were you happy with everything? And
we went there for breakfast a few times as well.
Yeah.
So
I enjoyed that.
It was the same experience at breakfast. It was awesome. I know we haven't really talked about the food. So your thoughts on the food in the main dining room?
I thought the food was very tasty and good. It's what you expect when you order. They've changed their menu recently, so now there tends to be a theme every night.
So it was French night, or French. Not everything was French, but it would be kind of themed or Italian, that sort of thing. So
I wasn't totally on board with that idea at first, but I did find things that I liked, but I didn't. When I looked at the menu, I would say there wasn't as many things on the menu that I was interested in.
Yeah, the one, I can't remember which night it was. There was one night where I was like, oh, I'm not like super excited about any of these, so I ordered a steak.
Yeah.
I could still order a steak, but I would agree. And breakfast, it was really nice, so you could still get, and this was all complimentary. You could get your complimentary orange juice, coffee. You could order eggs however you like them. They had the parfaits. They had, fruit platters, toast, sausages, bacon, everything
I think
there.
it was the best French toast I've ever had.
It looked amazing.
Best. It was like brioche bread. Brioche. It was so good with the maple syrup and the berries and the whipping cream.
Yeah.
It was like really nice. And we said orange juice, but there was actually multiple juices you could order that were.
Yes.
They have fresh squeeze and then they have complimentary. So
yeah.
There's 2 different lists there.
And for dinner, some great meals as well. So they did have on one of the formal nights. They did have, was it Maine lobster?
Yeah.
So you could have a lobster tail. You could have one complimentary, and I want to say it was $16.99 if you did want a second one.
Something like that.
They had all sorts of different steaks and different things, fried chickens, different chicken meals, a lot of different options throughout the week, salmon. And some of the appetizers were fun too. Escargot. They had lots of different salads and different dishes.
What was the one that I went and ordered too? Not caviar.
Oh, calamari.
Calamari was probably also the best calamari I've ever had.
It was good. The dipping sauce was really good with it.
Yeah, I really like that.
Yeah. So, highly recommend the main dining room on the ship. The food was really good. I will say this though, a lot of the items that you're interested in the main dining room, they will have something similar in the Windjammer Buffet. So if there's something you missed out on, I would check. And I think that's common on cruises. If there's something, they might keep some of the items the same, so you might be able to find them in the buffet as well.
But you don't find everything from the buffet in the main dining room.
No, that's for sure.
Yeah.
Well, because we had walked by the buffet one night on our way to dinner, and they had this taco bar or nacho type bar.
And I really was craving Mexican food.
So.
And then it was Italian.
So we were hoping there would be some kind of nacho dish for appetizer down there. But you did have the artichoke. No, not artichoke. The spinach dip with chips.
The first night. That was really good.
Yeah.
I really liked that.
Yeah.
It was delicious.
Well, since we kind of brought up the Windjammer, should we talk about that?
Yes, but first let me just add about the main dining room.
Okay.
The bread is also awesome, and they bring you a whole basket of bread for your table.
Oh, yeah.
Okay, it's probably not a good thing for me because I love bread.
Yeah.
So.
Yeah.
Yeah, okay, now we can talk about the Windjammer. I just had to talk about the bread.
So I'm going to lump a couple things in here together.
Okay.
The Windjammer, like the buffet area, is huge. I mean, there's a lot of people on the ship, but it is huge.
Yeah.
And it's an island-based buffet.
Small islands.
Small islands. And I love it when they do this rather than one line because it saves so much time. So we've been on other ships where we've waited 15 or 20 minutes to actually get some food because everybody's one by one.
Yeah. Sometimes you just want to meet, and then you got to stand in line past all the salads and then all the soups and all the categories. So this way you just jump to the part you want. It works better.
Even though it's an island, there might be a line, but it's only 2 or 3 people rather than 50 people. So it makes a big difference, and you can just kind of go to which side of the island you want and line up. And honestly, there weren't very big lines at all to get food in there. Even when it was packed busy, you weren't waiting for more than 1 or 2 people.
Sometimes it was a little busy when you looked because a lot of people moving around in different directions, but it was quick to get food.
And in there, I mean, massive bread selections. They had massive salad selections, fruit selections.
The deli meats, the cheeses.
Deli meats, yeah.
Like for breakfast, the bacon is out. There's lots of bacon.
Yeah.
It didn't feel like they're policing it at all. Like,
they did custom omelets, but they kind of took your order and they'd give you a kind of a time how long it took. Like it could be a long wait for it in the morning, but there was lots of other eggs, fried eggs, steaks. It all changed throughout the day.
And then, of course, the juices and the coffee. And I have a thing to say about the coffee. This is silly, but other cruise lines, you go into a coffee machine and you hold the button down and it dispenses the coffee. This, it poured, like the system there. Yeah. Coffee came really fast. So there was never a lineup of people to get coffee. It was a much faster system. Plus, they walked around with coffee and juice, handing it out.
Yeah, I have that on my list, is that they actually would come around and ask you if you wanted juice or coffee when you're sitting down and brought it to you, which I really appreciate. Yeah. And just back on the coffee, the brand of the coffee was Lavazza. And the coffee tasted really good.
They did serve Starbucks on the cruise ship as well in different cafes. That was paid for coffees though.
Yeah, yeah. So we did have the
Yeah.
coffee cart, and we did order our caramel macchiatos and those sorts of
Yeah.
things, but those you did have to.
But I also really enjoyed the complimentary coffee. It was good. And then, of course, they had the half and half and the different kind of creams and milk there. It was nicely set up.
They also had quite a large dessert bar.
Okay, yeah.
And lots of different options there. The desserts were really good. How do I say this? Not necessarily all of them were my favorite, but some of them were amazing, and they had donuts.
They did have donuts, which goes nicely with the coffee. Okay, this is the breakfast at the buffet, so in the Windjammer. This sounds obvious, but I don't find this on every cruise ship. I really like my oatmeal. They actually put milk by the oatmeal.
Yeah.
So other cruise lines, I've scooped my oatmeal and I can't find the milk. I have to go get it at the coffee station, which is fine, but it was a better flow. Like the design of the islands, they made sense. The stuff went together. You had all the amenities that you needed for that item.
I would agree. I think we've gone through most of the stuff I have to say. I mean, we could talk about the Windjammer all day long.
Yeah.
So I do want to talk about two other kind of, I don't want to call them buffet areas, but so there's something called the Solarium Bistro, which was a buffet. So it was a little bit quieter by the Solarium, and they did not have quite as large of a selection, but that was a good place to go eat as well, which was complimentary.
For breakfast and lunch.
Yeah.
Not dinner.
Not dinner, but that was very enjoyable. And then by the 270, they had the 270, Cafe 270, I think it was called, which had a little bit better hours throughout the afternoon if the Windjammer was closed. And you could they made like sandwiches in there, soup. They'd make you salads. You could also get complimentary coffee and like iced tea lemonade in there.
Yeah, and there was also the desserts were kind of by the paid coffees, but they're complimentary.
Yeah. So that was really nice as well.
It was nice.
There was also a lot of smaller kind of specialty restaurants that were complimentary. I shouldn't say a lot, a few others. Fish and chips. So fish and chips, but it was called fish and chips. So you could get fish and chips and french fries, or shrimp and french fries.
Yeah.
And did they have a burger or a chicken burger?
Fish burger. And I think there was a couple other things.
They did have some dessert. They offered like a daily dessert.
We missed it though.
Yeah.
It wasn't available when we went.
They also had some paid for items there. So not everything was complimentary, but I enjoyed that. Especially in Alaska. It was like nice to get some fish and chips.
My favorite though there was the shrimp. The
Okay.
shrimp was really good. If I could go right now and get something, I'd get the deep fried shrimp. It was good.
I don't have a lot. I have a few more restaurants I just quickly want to talk about. There's not a lot to say about them. It's nice. Sorrento's Pizza in the Esplanade is open really quite late, so you can grab pizza really late into the night. The Cafe Promenade, I believe, was 24 hours, so really kind of small selection in there. Some desserts, some fruit.
And just
sandwiches.
water and coffee. No, none of the flavored waters were there.
So that was a nice place if you needed to grab something. And then the other place we had a hot dog once, but the SeaPlex Dog House was super handy if your kids are out there in the SeaPlex and want to just grab a hot dog for lunch. And actually, they were really good.
They're really good. I'm not always a big hot dog fan.
But I had the bratwurst, and you had...
I think it was like a chicken apple, and it wasn't greasy. It was really... And like the buns had good flavor. I had I think like everything bun. I was surprised that I enjoyed it. It was really good.
Yeah, so super handy. But the food, I was quite impressed with it on this ship.
It was good. Yeah. Really good.
Should we jump into some of our wishes? I have a couple.
Yeah.
Do you want to go ahead?
Sure. Okay, so... This is a wish, but it's actually not a problem.
Okay.
So before you get on the cruise, you can start making your reservation times for the My Time dining. And I felt very stressed about it because the times all filled up way in advance.
Months in advance.
And it was kind of like, I can't eat till like 8:45 at night. Like, how's this going to work? So it's not actually a problem. There's more spots available than that because they also have like a standby line. So don't panic. If you can select the time ahead of time that you want, or pick the best, but when you get on the ship, talk to the maitre d'.
If there's something that doesn't work for you, see if they'll be able to switch it.
Yeah, because they were so accommodating. So it's kind of like a wish that was already fixed. So it's don't panic about that. If you see the times not lining up for you.
On that, it's kind of along the same lines. We did the My Time dining, and the earliest I believe was 6:15. I wish that the My Time dining would start sooner.
Yeah, if you do the early dining, you get in earlier.
Yeah.
But then the problem comes in is your port times. You really need to look at your port
and
times.
show times. I just felt really rushed at dinner, trying to get to the show.
We wanted to see everything,
Yeah.
so you try to do as much as possible, but you also want to be in port as long as possible. So it's kind of this tug of war, right? I have another one, but this goes back to the Windjammer.
Okay.
I know why they do this, because the Windjammer can be exceptionally busy at times and very difficult to find a seat. So they have this very loud announcement asking you to leave as soon as you're done eating so that more cruisers can come and sit down and eat.
It was super. I don't have that on my list, but
it
I
was
would.
super loud and super
Annoying, and it actually kind of ruined the experience a little bit at times.
So you eat your food and it's like repetitively going off. And it's like, how do you sit there and eat your dessert and sip your coffee and relax when you're like, attention?
Yeah.
It just, I didn't like it.
Yeah. No, I would agree.
Yeah.
I have a couple for the Windjammer as well. So, the Windjammer hours were shorter than on other ships for the buffet.
A lot shorter.
And when they shut down, they fully shut it down. You couldn't even walk through. So I guess my wish would be, if you're not going to extend the hours, at least allow people to go sit at the tables and drink a coffee, because they fully shut it down. You couldn't even walk through. And especially in Alaska, it's so nice to just go, I don't need the food. I just want to go grab a coffee and sit by the window. And it didn't allow for, as we've seen on other ships, where in the slow hours in the buffet, people go there and play cards or read a book with their coffee, and it didn't allow for that. They fully shut the doors, or there was a guard there.
A guard. Guard.
And I just wish that they would allow you, just shut off the buffet part in there and allow you to stroll through there and grab a coffee and sit and use the tables.
I agree.
So, but other than that, it was really good. The other thing, the other wish I had, the main dining rooms seemed extremely busy.
Yeah.
Like busier than I can remember on other cruise ships for the main dining rooms.
Okay, yeah.
I just feel like they were just constant people, and they were quite small, even though they had multiples. They just seemed really busy.
They were busy. They were highly efficient.
They were.
The people, like, the table would clear next to you, and one person would come and take off the linens and put on, and someone else walked right in behind them and drop the tablecloth. Like, this whole team, it was impressive to watch. The turnover time was really impressive.
Yeah. But
very busy for them.
Very busy. So I did want to say, I don't know if this isn't really a wish, but it's just kind of a observation. If you're looking for the traditional main dining room, like you might see on the Mariner of the Seas, other Royal Caribbean ships that are multi-storied and look really elegant. These are elegant, but they're kind of a one story on the side of the ship versus...
It doesn't have that grand feeling, like I'm...
Yeah.
Yeah.
So that would be my other thought. But other than that, it was just phenomenal.
I have one more wish, though.
Okay.
I wanted walnuts with my oatmeal. And in the buffet, there were no walnuts.
Okay. So it's one of those things, it's, they have so much stuff, and yet it's funny because that's something you notice. So it's good to know. Awesome. But I think other than that, we had an amazing time at the complimentary food and restaurants. Really enjoyed it. The food was wonderful. And those are some of our thoughts.